Right, welcome back to the last section in the set. What we're going to do is we're going to set up a trigger system that will control the door's head and some properties. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off by making a trigger. To do that, we need to use a cube builder brush, and I'm going to place it in front of my monitor at the moment. I'm going to scale it slightly, just so it kind of encompasses the monitor better, and scale it also in its height, but this time with non-uniform, and place it approximately there. What I'm then going to do is use my volume brush here, right click on it and change it to a trigger volume. Once that's done, I'm going to move my brush and I'm left with this green block, which is a trigger volume. So the idea is essentially the player will move into the trigger volume, and this will affect the other sections of the matinee or kismet function. So if I open it up, at the moment you can see we're still set to level startup. I'm going to remove that. What you want to do now is make sure you have your trigger selected. Right click in the kismet window and choose new event using trigger volume 1/touch. And what that does is it creates a trigger for us that works on touch. So as soon as we move in and touch this volume, we're going to affect things. Okay, I'm not going to connect that up because what I want to do is I want to add in 2 more matinees, and the other 2 matinees are going to control the doors. Now at the moment these doors are static objects and they cannot move, so what we need to first do is convert them to what we call movers. These are also called interp actors or interpolating actors in Unreal 3. So if you select them, add one of the doors, and do this just one at a time, right click and go convert, and then convert to mover. You then need to do this to the other door, and they will go a purpley pink colour once it's been done. Okay, now we're going to start off with our first door, select it, and we're going to make a new matinee. So we can go matinee here, and what I'm going to start doing now is labelling these with object comments, and this is just so that anybody can open up the map and understand what's going on. So I'm going to call this first door matinee. Hit enter and you notice that we get this label in Kismet. I'm also going to call the trigger Ed 209 conveyor start. Also you'll notice just above this we've got a trigger count. This is how many times we can activate this sequence. At the moment it's set to 1. If you leave it as 0, I believe it's infinite. Okay. So what we want to do is I'm going to have it so that when we touch our trigger, we play our door opening matinee. Once that's completed, we can start our walk cycle for Ed. Okay. Move that there for now. Then I'm going to make another matinee. Drag that slightly over here, and I'm going to call this one exit door or something like that. Exit door matinee, like so. And what's going to happen is that I'm going to stand in the trigger, that door's going to open, Ed's going to walk through, and that door's going to open, so to let him pass through. So I'm going to say again, as soon as the first door is finished opening, open the second one. I'm going to also label my walk cycle, so I'm going to say Ed walk. Also, what's quite useful to add to this is a log. Logs generally prompt stuff out to the screen. It's good for debugging, and it's also good for informing the player. So to do this, I've just right click, I've gone to new action, misc, and then log. Okay, and then I can go, I'm going to connect it to our first door matinee. So what I need to do now is create a comment here, so I can say Ed 209 has been deployed. And basically what that's going to do is every time, well, once the door's finished opening, it's going to say this on the screen, and you'll see it come up later. Okay. So that's the basic framework. It's not too complicated, but obviously there's lots of links going in there, and it's all dependent on this trigger setting off the first door. Next, what we need to do is set up these two matinees so that they actually have the animation of the doors, because at the moment the doors aren't involved in the matinee at all. So if we double click on the first door, like so, we now need to make a group containing all of the door information. So what you need to do is you need to make sure that before you do anything you have this door selected, and it will go this pinky colour. Then right click and create an empty group, and this can be called first door or something like that. First door mover. Then we right click on it and we add a new movement track, and this will only work if this static mesh has been turned to a mover. It will give you a whole host of errors if not. I'm going to zoom out using my middle mouse button, and I'm going to use both my left and mouse button to recenter my view. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to change my end time by moving this red slider. It's going to let me, there we go, to 3 seconds. I put my black slider right back to 0, and I'm going to key. So what that's done is that's just keyed my door at 0, 0 here. What I'm then going to do is move my slider to 3 seconds and move my door to, say, approximately there, and then hit key. So what's going to happen is my door opens over time, like so. So now if we went to test that, you'd see that the door would open, like so. Okay, now we need to repeat the exact same procedure on the other side. So we select our door first, go into matinee, create a group, and this can be called exit door matinee or something. Then we can add a movement track. Again, we need to move the end time to 3 seconds. You can have this as long as you want, but we need it so that the door will be open for when Ed gets there, roughly. So you add a key, move the black slider across, move the door up in our perspective view like so, then add another key. Okay, so just to scrub through, voila, like that. So now we have our two doors set up. We can tell that they're correctly working because we have our interp actors actually plugged into the matinee, so it's just like the walk cycle. And that's ready for testing now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click play from here, do a quick test, walk over, you can see our doors opening, text comes up, Ed moves, the other doors open, and that's the end of that matinee section. Okay, so in a nutshell, that's the process required just to get some simple Kismet functions to tie in together. There's all sorts of things that you can do in your spare time, so if you want to post some of these up on the forum, I suggest that you think about perhaps closing the door after Ed's walked through, think about flashing lights to attract attention, that kind of thing. If you want to do more complicated screen inputs, there's something called UI scenes, which you can grab again from the action menu. At the moment our walk is set to loop, so we walk in, trigger the walk cycle, and it'll just keep on going and going and going and going. All you need to do is turn that off if you just wanted to walk once. But keep your eyes peeled on 3D Palace for some more Unreal 3 development. I hope you've enjoyed this introduction to Matinee and Kismet, and many thanks for watching.